My name is Leah. I am 15 years old. I live in London with my mother and my grandma. My mum works at a small shop. My grandma stays home and watches TV. Our flat is small. It has 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and a tiny kitchen. It is not big, but it is quiet. Too quiet sometimes. My real dad left when I was 5. I do not remember his voice. I do not remember his smell. But I remember his face. He had kind eyes and dark hair. He used to carry me on his shoulders. In one photo, I am laughing and holding his ears. I look so happy in that photo. I keep it in a red book on my shelf. When I was little, I asked my mom, "Where is Dad?" She always said the same thing. "He's gone, Leah." That's all. I wanted more. I wanted to know why he left. Did I do something wrong? Was I too noisy? Too messy? My mom never gave answers. She just closed her eyes and said, "Don't ask about him." So I stopped asking. But I never stopped thinking about him. Every time I saw a dad with his daughter at the park, I felt something cold in my chest. At school, when we made Father's Day cards, I sat still. My teacher once said, "You can make one for your granddad." I smiled, but it didn't feel right. I didn't want to lie. I didn't want to pretend. At night, I sometimes stared at the ceiling and whispered, "Dad, where are you?" I didn't expect an answer, but I still spoke. I felt like maybe, just maybe, he could hear me. Sometimes I dreamed of him. In my dreams, he held my hand. He said, "I'm sorry." Then he faded away. One Saturday morning, I was cleaning my room. I found an old box under the bed. Inside, I saw some of my baby clothes and toys. Under the soft blue blanket, there was a letter. It had no envelope, just one page. The paper was yellow and folded. I opened it with shaking hands. The letter was from him, from my dad. The date said March 2014. That was the year he left. My heart raced as I read, "Dear Leah, I'm sorry I can't stay. Your mom and I don't agree on many things. But please know this. I love you. You are my little star. I wish I could take you with me, but I can't. I don't want to fight. I hope you'll grow up strong and kind. I'll think about you every day. Love, Dad." I read the letter 3 times. Then I sat on the floor and cried. I did not know what to think. He said he loved me, but he still left. He said he thought of me, but he never called, never sent a card. Nothing. For 10 years, I waited for nothing. That evening, I went to my mom. I held the letter in my hand. She was washing dishes. I stood in the doorway and said, "I found something." She turned around. Her eyes looked tired. I gave her the letter. She didn't speak. She read it slowly. Then she put it on the table and sat down. "I didn't want you to read that," she said. Her voice was soft. "Why?" I asked. My voice shook. "Because it would only hurt you more," she said. I felt my throat tighten. "He said he loved me," I said. She nodded. "Maybe he did. But love isn't always enough, Leah. He left. That's what matters." I wanted to yell. I wanted to ask her why she never told me more, but I didn't. I just stood there, feeling small. My mom looked at me. "I didn't hide the letter to be cruel," she said. "I did it to protect you." I didn't answer. I walked back to my room and closed the door. That night, I lay in bed holding the letter. My heart felt heavy. Was I angry? Yes. Was I sad? Also yes. But most of all, I felt confused. How can someone say they love you and still leave? The next morning, I didn't want to eat. My grandma sat with me in the living room. She turned off the TV and looked at me. "You found the letter, didn't you?" she asked. I was surprised. "You knew?" I asked. She nodded. "Yes. He gave it to me when he left. I was supposed to give it to you when you were older, but your mom said no." I looked down. My hands were cold. "Why did he leave?" I asked. My grandma sighed. "It wasn't one thing. He and your mom argued a lot. Money, jobs, other things. He was not a bad man, but he was weak. He didn't know how to stay." I swallowed hard. "Did he ever call?" She shook her head. "Not once." I felt a tear run down my cheek. Then maybe he didn't really love me. My grandma reached for my hand. "No, Leah. People can love and still fail. That's the sad part." Later that day, I walked to the small park near our flat. I sat on the swing and watched the trees. A father pushed his daughter on the swing next to me. She laughed and shouted, "Higher, Daddy!" I smiled, but it hurt. I looked up at the sky and whispered, "I miss you." I didn't know what the future would bring, but I knew one thing now. Missing someone doesn't stop just because they are gone. Sometimes it grows even bigger, like a quiet space inside your heart. Before I share the rest of my story, I need to know, where are you listening from? Knowing someone hears me, understands me, gives me strength. The next few days were quiet. I didn't talk much at school. I didn't laugh with my friends. I didn't answer many questions in class. My teachers didn't say anything, but I knew they noticed. Even Anna, my best friend, asked, "Are you okay?" I told her I was fine, but I wasn't. At night, I kept reading the letter from my dad. I read it so many times that I almost knew it by heart. I placed it inside my red notebook and kept it under my pillow. I couldn't stop thinking about him. Where was he now? Did he live far away? Did he have another family? Did he still think about me? One evening, I went online and typed his name into the search bar. I didn't expect to find anything, but after a few clicks, I saw a photo. It was old, but I knew it was him. He had the same eyes, the same hair, the same smile. The photo was part of a work website. It said he lived in Manchester now. He worked as a delivery driver. That was all I could find, but it was enough to make my hands shake. I printed the photo and looked at it for a long time. Then I put it next to the one from when I was little. 2 photos. One from the past. One from now. I stared at both and whispered, "Why did you leave me?" The next morning, I went to my grandma and said, "I found him." She looked surprised but calm. "You searched for him?" she asked. I nodded. "He's in Manchester," she sighed. "I thought you might do that one day." I looked at her and asked, "Do you think I should write to him?" She didn't answer right away. Then she said, "Only if you're ready, and only if you can accept the answer, even if it's silence." I spent the rest of that day thinking. I went to the park, sat on my usual bench, and started writing a letter. I didn't know what to say, so I started simple. "Dear Dad, my name is Leah. I'm your daughter. I'm 15 now. I found the letter you wrote to me when I was 5. I read it over and over. I wanted to ask you, why? Why did you go? Did you ever think of me? I don't hate you. I just want to understand. Leah." I didn't send it right away. I kept it in my notebook. I showed it to Anna at school. She read it slowly, then looked at me and said, "That's really brave." I shrugged. "I don't know if I'll send it." She gave me a soft smile. "Even writing it helps. You said what's in your heart." 1 week passed. Then 2. I kept the letter but didn't do anything. One night my mom came into my room. She saw the letter on my desk. She picked it up and read it. I froze. I waited for her to yell or get upset, but she didn't. She sat down on my bed and said, "I was scared too, you know." I looked at her. "Scared of what?" She looked tired. "Scared that you would choose him, that you would love him more, that I would be left behind." Her voice broke. "I know that's selfish, but I felt small when he left, and I didn't want you to feel that same pain." I blinked slowly, but I already did. She reached for my hand. "I'm sorry, Leah. I didn't handle it right. I should have talked to you more. I should have told you the truth." I pulled my hand away gently. "It's too late for that now." She nodded. "I know, but maybe it's not too late to do better." That night, I took out the letter, found an envelope, and wrote his name on it. I searched for his work address online and copied it down. My hands were shaking, but I knew I had to do it. I placed the envelope in my school bag. The next day, I dropped it into the post box outside the shop near school. After that, every day felt long. I watched the mailbox. I waited for a reply. 2 weeks passed. Then 3. Still nothing. I started to believe I would never hear from him. Maybe he threw the letter away. Maybe he forgot about me. Or maybe he just didn't care. One Friday afternoon, I came home from school and found a small white envelope on the table. It had my name written in blue ink. I looked at my grandma. She gave me a small nod. I picked it up with shaking hands and walked to my room. I closed the door and sat on my bed. The letter was short. Dear Leah, I don't know what to say. I never thought you'd write to me. I'm sorry I left. I was scared and confused. I didn't know how to be a father. But I never stopped thinking about you. I still have your baby photo in my wallet. I'm proud of you. If you want to write again, here's my number. Love, Dad. I stared at the page. My hands were cold. My chest felt warm. He had replied. After 10 years, he had replied. I read the letter again and again. I memorized every word. My eyes filled with tears, but this time they weren't just sad. They were something else too. Relief. Hope. That night, I showed the letter to my mom. She read it and said nothing for a while. Then she looked at me and said, I'm glad he wrote back. I didn't expect that. I looked at her. You are? She nodded. Yes. I think you deserve answers. And maybe he's ready now. Later, I messaged the number he gave. I wrote, Hi, this is Leah. Thank you for your letter. I waited. 10 minutes later, he replied, Hi, Leah. Thank you for writing to me. Would you like to talk sometime? My fingers shook as I typed. Yes, I think I would. We didn't call right away. We messaged first. He asked about school, about what I liked, about my favorite food. He sent a photo of his cat. I sent a picture of my drawing. Slowly, carefully, we started to build something. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. I didn't forgive everything at once. I still had questions. I still had pain. But I started to believe that maybe he really did care. And maybe, just maybe, he didn't forget me after all. Weeks passed, and I kept texting with my dad. At first, the messages were short, just 1 or 2 sentences. He always replied quickly. That made me smile. He asked about school, my hobbies, my favorite music. I learned that he liked coffee with milk and sugar, and that he still listened to old jazz music in his car. He sent me photos of the places he delivered to. One day, he even sent a picture of the sky and said, Thought of you when I saw this. I didn't tell many people. Just Anna and my grandma knew. My mom knew we were talking, but she didn't ask much. Sometimes she looked sad. I think part of her still felt afraid. But she didn't stop me. That meant a lot. One Sunday, my dad sent a message that made my heart race. He wrote, Would you ever want to meet me in person? I read it 3 times before I answered. Then I wrote, maybe, but I'd feel nervous. He replied, me too, but we could take it slow. Just a coffee or a walk. You can bring someone if you want. I thought about it for days. I talked to my grandma. She said, it's your choice, love. No pressure. But if you want to go, I'll go with you. That made me feel safe. I told Anna too, and she smiled. I think you're very brave, she said. So we picked a day. It was a Saturday. He said he'd come to London. We chose a small park near my house. Not too busy, not too far. He said he would wear a green jacket so I could see him easily. The morning of the meeting, I felt sick. My hands were cold. My legs felt weak. I changed my clothes 3 times. I brushed my hair, then brushed it again. My grandma held my hand and said, breathe, Leah. Just breathe. We walked to the park together. It was a cloudy day, but the rain held back. I sat on a bench near the old swings and waited. Every time someone passed, I looked up. Then I saw him. A tall man in a green jacket, holding a coffee cup. He looked just like the photos. My heart beat so fast I thought it might stop. He walked toward us, slowly, like he didn't want to scare me. When he reached the bench, he smiled and said, "Hi, Leah." I stood up. My voice was stuck for a second. Then I said, "Hi." He looked at my grandma and gave a polite nod. "Hello, Mrs. Young." She smiled a little and said, "Call me Helen." We sat together on the bench. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then he said, "You've grown so much." I laughed softly. "It's been 10 years." He nodded. "Too long." He looked nervous. I could tell he didn't know what to say next. So I helped him. "Thanks for writing back," I said. "And for coming today." He looked at me carefully. "Thank you for giving me the chance. I never thought I'd hear from you." I wanted to ask him so many things. Why didn't you call? Why didn't you come back? But I didn't ask those yet. I just said, "I have questions, but not today." He smiled. "That's okay. I'll answer them when you're ready." We talked for about an hour. He told me about his job, his flat, his cat named Oliver. I told him about school, my drawings, my grandma's cooking. He laughed when I said she made the best toast in the world. "She always made the best tea, too," he added. We laughed together. That was the strangest part. It felt like I knew him and didn't know him all at once. After the meeting, he said, "Can we do this again?" I nodded. "Yes, I'd like that." Before he left, he pulled something from his pocket. It was a small necklace, a silver heart. "I bought this a few years ago," he said. "I didn't know if I'd ever get to give it to you." I took it gently. It was simple, but beautiful. "Thank you," I whispered. That evening, I told my mom everything. I expected her to be angry or sad, but she wasn't. She just listened. When I finished, she said, "I'm glad you had a good day." I looked at her. "I still love you too, you know," I said. "Even if I talk to him." Her eyes filled with tears. "And I love you, Leah. Always." After that, things slowly changed. I met with my dad again. We went for walks, sat in cafes, talked more. I still lived with my mom and grandma, but I saw him about once a month. Each time it got easier. I started to ask questions. Hard ones. "Why didn't you call?" He said. I was ashamed. I didn't think I had the right. I said, "But you were my dad." He nodded. "I know. And I'm sorry I didn't act like one." I told him how I felt all those years, how I cried when I saw other girls with their dads, how I thought maybe he didn't love me. He looked down and said, "I deserve that. But please know, Leah, I thought about you every single day." I believed him. I could see it in his eyes. One afternoon, we walked through the park again. The same park where we met the first time. He looked at me and said, "You've grown into an amazing young woman." I smiled. "You helped too." He shook his head. "No, Leah. That was all you." Back at home, I started writing more. I filled pages in my red notebook. Not just about pain, but about hope, about change, about love. One page said, "I am not just the girl whose father left. I am also the girl who found him again." At school, I gave a speech in English class. The topic was family. I stood in front of the class and said, "Family can break you, but it can also heal you. Sometimes both things happen at the same time." My teacher gave me a smile. I got an A. One evening, my dad came to our flat for tea. My mom made pasta. My grandma served her best lemon cake. It was a little awkward at first, but we sat together at the table, shared food, and talked. Not about the past, just about now. And that was enough. That night, as I lay in bed, I held the silver necklace in my hand. I thought about the girl I was before, the one who cried at night, the one who felt invisible. She was still part of me. But now, there was something new, a voice, a light, a stronger heart. I still missed the years we lost. I still wished things had been different. But I didn't feel empty anymore. I didn't feel forgotten. I had found something I thought I would never have again. My father. Not perfect. Not always present. But real. And more than anything, I found something else too. I found peace. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon.